Do you ever have one of those Monday mornings where you kind of sluggish to get going? You know, most Monday mornings I actually get going pretty easily. I'm excited to get back to work, but this past weekend I went to Atlantic City with a good friend of mine, and we had a lot of fun, but a lot of late nights and just exhausted. So I was a little bit tired this morning, but getting it going. Busy day, busy week this week. I'm trying to get through all those projects and billing and paperwork that I was trying to do last week. So hopefully we'll get through a lot of that. I'm also thinking about another tutorial, trying to figure out how to do those tutorials. So it's one of the things I'm going to try to figure out what the best way to do it. So I have to work on doing some color correction with some products that I am working on to get the color just right for them on the photo. So they sent over products for me to color match too, but feeling it's just one of those things that's quite mentally challenging and exhausting to tweak colors back and forth. So I think I'm gonna go and get me a cup of coffee. So in general, I believe that I'm a pretty nice guy. I was taught well to, say please and thank you. And over the last few years, I've really tried to up my game of positivity. With so many negative things going on in the world, and terrorism and drought and hurricanes and earthquakes, sometimes it's really difficult to stay positive and just think that everything's coming to an end. But can't be that way. I hold things against people and do all those things, and that negative effect just trickles down back to everything in your own life. Now, it's not like I don't see these things or they don't affect me. Of course they affect me. They affect everyone. All these negative feelings and negative things that happen in the world affect us all, but how we let them affect us is really the only thing we have to control. This morning I woke up to the news of the shooting in Las Vegas, where 50 people were dead, and now it's up to 500 people were injured, and it's awful. What was going through this guy's mind to, pull off such a heinous stunt, to kill so many innocent people who are just out to, enjoy a concert or something like that. It just doesn't make any sense. I can't rationalize any of that. When you let all the world's negativity or other people's negativity affect you, it really does bring you down, and it kind of puts you in a funk, and then you start thinking negative, and it feeds that, churning, ego or sub-ego or whatever it is, where you start doubting yourself, and when you start thinking, negative thoughts about other people, and you only put your perspective into a view, and you don't think of anybody else's perspective. Over the last few years, I've really tried to start putting things into perspective. Started looking at that everybody has an issue, everybody is dealing with some shit, and I'm not going to judge, them being a complete asshole to me or to everybody around them and say, hey, you're a jerk, bro. It's like, all right, they're going through some shit and they can't deal with it, and they're gonna, take it out on everybody else, but they're not gonna allow me, they're not gonna take me down. This weekend when we were at the casino, we were sitting at the craps table or standing at the craps table shooting craps, throwing dice, placing bets, having fun, getting stressed, and we had a lot of fun, but there was this one guy at the other end of the table, this older gentleman, who obviously wasn't, the luck wasn't going anybody's way. It wasn't like people were there to lose, right? So, and he was just getting so upset with every single roll. Anytime someone sevened out, he would just get screaming and yelling and calling them names from across the table. It's like, what's the point? And he was just so negative. And when I spoke to the pit bosses and the dealers, they said that, oh yeah, he comes in all the time and that's just the way he always is. And I can't imagine living my life in that style. I can't be in a negative funk, and it's very easy to get into these negative funks and just allow yourself to just think negative thoughts about people, about yourself, about the world around you, about just everything that's going wrong. It's so much easier to do that, and that's why people do it, because they're lazy and they don't want. It takes work. It takes real work to stay positive, to look at the positive side of life, to look at the positive things in your life, to look at where the positive things can lead, or to pull yourself out of that funk. You have to really work. You have to really think. You have to really do acts of kindness. And so I've really prided myself into, thanking people and saying please and yes and being really nice to everyone. And this weekend, after, while I was dealing with the dealers at the craps table and the pit bosses, I would always say thank you. Here's a bet, and they would lay it down, and I would say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And one of the dealers, they rotate around the table, every 15 minutes. She was next to me on the stick, and she turned to me and she said, I really do appreciate, you saying thank you and being so nice and kind. There's so many people here who don't give a crap and never say anything. They're not nice to us. They just treat us like we're some type of robots, or that they yell at us for doing things wrong or doing things right, or, not placing the bet when they wanted the bet placed. And she's like, it really does make a difference, and so that kind of put a lot of my things in perspective. It's like, saying thank you is just so simple, but it does take a little bit more work. But it's just so simple. You just say thank you, yes, please. Sure, you're welcome. Oh, sure, I'll hold the door for you. All those little things add up over time, and they pay in dividends. Obviously, I didn't do so well at the casino, so it didn't pay in dividends in that way, but anytime I was ready to place a bet, they knew who I was. They were placing the bets for me. They were asking me if I wasn't on this bet that I normally am on. Sure, Joe, do you want to make sure that you're on? Oh, you're down from here. Can you, and yeah, sure, that's part of the selling, but that's also part of being nice. They know that I have a certain betting style, and they want me to make sure that I keep that betting style. And if it's off, they don't have to do anything. And they were just super nice. And later on that evening, we were at a different table, and as she walked by, she came by and she said, oh, thank you, hey, how you, good luck, guys, and it's just one of those things that was just really nice. It really pays to just be a nice person. I don't understand why people want to be negative their entire lives, and that's all they want to do is saying that this isn't possible and these things aren't possible and I'll never be able to do this. You have control over how you feel. You have control over your emotions. You have control over whether you're going to be a negative person or a positive person. It's all under your control. You set the pace. And if in a world that's all negative, it's very easy to stay negative. No one reports the positive things in the news. It's a tiny little fraction of the news. Social and everything like that, it's just can really get you down, and you have to always look for the bright side. You have to always look for that silver lining. You have to always be positive and know that it's really not that bad, and this is just a time and place and moment that will pass, and something else will come on. And once that moment passes, you don't hold on to this negative moment. We're all going to have them. Sure, I get negative sometimes, but I try to let those moments pass and realize I'm not going to let it affect me. I'm not going to hold it and keep that bottled up so that it's, going to affect the rest of my life.
it happened, it's gone. Let's move on to the next thing. Let's think about what the next great thing we're going to do together, or let's think about the next great idea that I might have, or execute something cool, or do something fun. Got to think positive. It's always about positive. It definitely pays to be kind. It pays to be kind. Even with my clients, a lot of times, clients ask for stuff and they want it lickety split, and I get it to them lickety split with a thank you and yes please and sure. And it does pay. They realize, I can go to Joe for anything, but also if I need a couple extra days because of, I'm swamped here, and I give them an excuse, they don't hold that against me. They realize that 99% of the time I deliver, so fast and with so much, grace and positivity that they can accept that, a few days or a few times I might have to delay those things for a few hours or a day or two. So it definitely pays to be positive. I hope you're positive. Let me know down in the comments what kind of positive things you do daily to make other people happy, or to make other people's lives easier, or just to say thank you. Let me know down in the comments things that I can do that are more positive, where it's always about hacking what the next thing you want to do. And, being positive and saying thank you is one thing. So maybe I can do more. I'd love to do more. Let's talk down in the comments and let me know what you think. So it's a Monday night. I ended up heading home. I'm on the roof deck, just thinking about life. If you've come this far, please just go hug someone and really try hard to be positive. I know it's a lot of work, but try really hard to be positive today. And I really want to thank you if you've come this far and still watching. I want to thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting the channel and supporting me and all these things. These vlogs end up being a bit of therapy for everybody who does them. So it's a tough day. This Vegas thing kind of threw me for a loop. All right, thank you again, and have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.